Hello again, this is Helen Kelly with DMA, and this brief module will provide an overview of the resources that are available to you if you're implementing a MoveOn strategy in the Eastern PA CoC. These resources have been either spoken about or directly hyperlinked to in the other modules, but now we have them all in one place for you. All right, so right here on your CoC website, and you can see it hyperlinked up here, we have all of the resources that DMA has created for you in your CoC to actually implement a MoveOn strategy. So what does that mean? That is all of the recordings of these modules. That is all of the slides for these modules, as well as any templates that we created to help your implementation. So that would be the MOU template for the housing provider, the PSH provider, and the housing authority, or whoever will be providing those units or subsidies post PSH. We have a sample PHA intake interview letter that's tailored specifically for MoveOn. We have a referral form, as well as the 2 MoveOn assessments, which you will choose one of the 2. And for more detail on that, if you haven't already watched it, you're going to want to watch the module that is specific to assessment. Now, in some instances, DMA did not necessarily create a template for you because they already existed, and the ones that are provided by HUD are more than sufficient to meet the needs of the MoveOn strategy. So you'll see right here we have this hyperlinked. There's actually a ton of resources on this page, many of which, well, DMA has already reviewed all of them, and we kind of picked and chosen which of was the best of the best and put together these modules and the other resources for you. But right here at the bottom, this is actually the bottom of the page is what this screenshot is. There's some specific templates which we did mention briefly in the general overview module, and that's the project plan template that has several different tabs going across the bottom of it, along with a user guide, and then a resources inventory to kind of help you track what the resources are in your community to help someone moving on from PSH, along with the overview for that. So you'll definitely want to check that out if you are implementing a MoveOn strategy. Okay, there are a number of other moving on resources that we wanted to share with you. These are specific about different MoveOn strategies and services, many of which the ideas, we have already, as I said, incorporated into your MoveOn strategy. But if you want some more details or take a deeper dive on some things, you can take a look at HUD's Moving On Services Guide. There's also creating a culture supportive of moving on for different staffing models. The MOSH training is something that we touch on in the supportive services module, but that is really a much deeper dive in how to support someone with supportive services and through supportive services during a MoveOn implementation. And then the snaps in focus, which is just it's about 3 pages, really brief, really to the point, and just does an excellent job of explaining what a MoveOn strategy is. And then lastly, these are a bunch of resources available to you specific to Housing Authority and CoC collaborations. So there is a how-to guide for housing authorities on how to move on from a housing authority's perspective. There's different HUD notices that have gone out that kind of can help with excluding the use of arrest records and housing decisions, which might be helpful when trying to service those with perhaps a housing choice voucher, but they have a criminal history, yet they're ready to move on. So that might be, you know, a tool that might be, or a resource that might be relevant to the conversations in your area. Also, guidance to housing authorities just on housing individuals and families experiencing homelessness in general. There is a Housing Authority 101, which is a guide for CoCs, and then opening doors through multifamily housing, a toolkit for implementing a homeless preference. So that again might be something else that could be useful to you in having a really robust MoveOn strategy in your area. And as always, DMA is here as a resource as well. Just reach out to us at the email that you see on the screen. And thanks for watching. Hope you found this helpful.